All right, ladies and gents, welcome, welcome, welcome. We've got some Golden Pit action at 1150 ELO. This is an ELO that I think a lot of people end up getting to after a lot of hard work, and then they produce some great games, man. You've got very little TC idle time in the early stage of this ELO. Usually you have to play hundreds upon hundreds of games, have some good hotkeys and strategies and whatnot. And let's introduce the players. In the red, a player who's killing 2 water buffalo on the other side of the town center. We've got Al Thing. Oh, God. He's killed all 3 of his water buffaloes. Al Thing over here playing as the Franks. Frank's a great beginner civilization. Frank's a civilization that, generally speaking, has very few weaknesses, right? But I was talking about it before we got in here. I believe that Saracens, while they probably shouldn't be considered a counter pick, I think they have the tools to deal with the Franks. Okay, I just complimented 1150, and both players are having some issues here, man. Blue, his water buffalo is a little far away from the TC. He's got to wait for the food now. And then red killed 3 water buffaloes at once. So it's an interesting start. But yeah, I mean, Franks are known for their good economy, as Rice gives the have fun good luck. I appreciate that. Way to go, Rice. And you know, Franks are easy to play because of their forge bonus and the farm upgrades being free and the extra HP on their scouts. But typically, it's just like a scout rush into some knights and whatnot later on. However, Saracens have more HP on their camels. Saracens have awesome archers. Saracens, they don't really have a lot of weaknesses besides the fact that they can't really commit to knights long term. And I guess they don't get halberdier, but I think if you can rely on the camels, it could be really strong. And you could say if you don't have the gold, man, red loves to kill stuff over here. This is red's favorite spot. But yeah, you could say, like, if you don't have access to gold with the Saracens, you get a pretty good price as well at the market, selling off wood and food and whatever else you might have. You only get 6 tiles of gold available to you on your hill on Golden Pit. So you've got 3 and 3 here, and then you've got 3 and 3 here. I kind of prefer red's base layout because this wood line's going to be really helpful. Easy to just wall up. Or blue might have to do a little bit more work in that regard. Okay, don't lose that Vil, please. Okay, there we go. Nice save. Never a doubt here. Nice job from blue. All right, 1150 elo. Any 1150 eloers out there? What do you tend to see? What do you tend to struggle against? I feel like you've still got to see a lot of scout builds. And I think something that these players are probably pretty good at is getting those town centers down in Castle Age and really producing those villagers. Like, even the army control could be a little bit suspect at times in this type of game, I think. But I think just the eco. Eco just rules all. Nice job from blue overall. Really like the small things blue has done with the economy. 2 vills on each side of the lumber camp for max efficiency. Villagers on either side of the mill for max efficiency. Pushing in a little deer now. Struggling a little bit to keep the TC running at the same time. That's not too bad. Also, wall recognition, I think, is another thing these guys have experience with at this point, right? Red realizes, ooh, this is a perfect wall off. Is going to wall it up there. I like how red thought there might have been a gap there and placed a house. And red's off to scout blue. Blue is bringing in another boar and really making me worried again. And there's another weak villager here. Okay, blue didn't select that one. That was impressive. Okay, well, nice job, blue. Not bad. Might need to make a monk later on to heal up these villagers, but whatever. It's fine. Getting eco up after feudal aggression and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's really tricky, right? I think red's Dark Age, to be honest, has been very unique. Like, just making the lumber camp, just now making the mill. The red's Dark Age is not the type of Dark Age I was really expecting here. But red has done a better job creating vills. I think their Dark Age is, generally speaking, going to be fairly solid. It seems like it is so far. Oh, man. Red, interesting walls here. And I have to disagree with this wall. I think you probably just want a wall here. But it is a wall, after all. And we'll see if Feudal Age comes in for these guys and what their builds are. Blue still a big old pusher over here. Pushing in some deer. And this guy, like, he sees his dead friends, so he doesn't want to be anywhere near them. And... oh, wow, really slaloming it through. Sometimes you could just pull those vills back to do something else, because it's the units that aggro the deer. But wow, okay, Blue. Okay, okay. Dang. What a beast. What a beast. All right. Lumber, like, the lumber camp positions for red, they how do I put this kindly? They make me want to rip my eyes out. Is that kind? I think I got the definition of kind wrong. They bother me slightly. Let's put it that way. You could tell that red doesn't really have as many, like, it hasn't practiced many build orders in terms of the timing on certain resources, right? They're really, like, the lumber camps are just pretty far away from the wood, which can become a problem. And I just feel for red. I want red to get as much wood out of the investment as possible. But yeah, okay, some of these players are doing really well as walling. Now, they're both actually going to struggle to have wood to make their building because they've committed so much to the walls. And I think there's, like, also a little bit of a lack of confidence in this elo, which is why they want to wall up so much. Which is fine. Both in Feudal Age at the exact same second. Max competition over here. And you know what I always say about players who don't really have the best of build orders? They probably adapt super well as the game goes on, right? Like, so if red just is protected here, I think red will feel okay. And red's just going to add a couple spearmen here for this opening. Blue's going to see that Vil. And it's just going to go on just passing. And blue's going to make an archery range to the left side of the base. Trying to use buildings as part of the walls. Will be awkward for blue to send the army the direction he wants if you make the archery range here, right? This is more of a location for maybe your blacksmith or whatever. And we've got even another archery range from blue. So blue's like separating the archer ranges, which again will make life awkward. And blue also just lost the scout over here. Red doesn't seem too interested in attacking right now. And red will be happy to have killed the scout and should have the time to get the walls down. A stone gate! Alright. Maybe a classic player that doesn't know palisade gates exist these days. That's fine, that's fine. No eco upgrades researched by either player here, guys. No wood upgrade, no farm upgrade. Farm upgrade came in for free, sorry, for red, but still. And blue really seems to be committing towards archers here, and the archers are now on the way. Obviously, a couple of villagers on gold. Not bad, not bad. Can you kill the deer with this scout and still get food? No, you cannot kill a deer with the scout. You can only push it, as we call it. Let's see, red. Saw the walls from blue. Also saw the archery range, so that's pretty good. But it honestly just feels like red just wants to go up to the next stage. But, like, look how many villagers red has on deer. Red's going to have so much food, but will not end up having the gold to go Castle Age. And it's going to go to stone, too. So, like, the other thing about Franks we didn't talk about that's very much important to the Franks and their performance long-term is their cheap castles. And when you're thinking about a map like this, you probably would love to have Franks to drop the castles towards the middle. All right. Blue massing army. Getting fletching now. The only thing blue saw was spearmen from the enemy. This would be a good opportunity to move out. And look what red's doing. Red's like, no army for me. I'm just going to sell off some of these extra resources at the market so I can go Castle Age. So no gold mining for red. So red went all in to try and just get Castle Age with no army and definitely wants to drop some castles. Here comes blue. Palisade gates are too weak. Also, wood more useful than stone at this stage. And that's why you're talking about the stone gate. Okay, but there's a palisade wall right here. What's the point of investing into a stone gate here when the rest of your walls are even more vulnerable than a palisade gate would be? That's kind of my point, but, you know, we'll see. I think people like to be sneaky with archers, right? But this is definitely a situation for blue where if red doesn't have army, and obviously he doesn't know this, right? You want to force some fights here, buddy. You want to force some fights. This is why also losing your scout can hurt, because you don't know if they have army. So again, you're scared of the world. Good job from blue, though. Blue's going to use the market, click up to Castle Age, and also has army presence. Attack those walls, my friend. The Saracen archers also take this down very quickly. And I think red could be in big trouble here. Red immediately reacts with a tower, which is probably the correct play. I mean, it's the only play you could do beyond like a bunch of house walls towards the TC, which is probably complicated. And blue runs in. And we have a garrison from red. And blue wants the villager pick so badly and is now going to sit right underneath the tower. Ooh. Really punishing the fact that red has no army right now. And red is going to make a stable now. And red's like, crap. I really didn't want to have to make army yet. Now, red can afford a castle. I wonder if red's just going to... Yeah, let's go. Red just makes a run right for the mid. Like, look at how crazy red's economy is, man. Also, it seems like red's going to plug the hole. Red doesn't have the food or the gold to be able to make knight. But the castle's going to go up, and only, you know, no villagers have died at this point. And here comes red now moving out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, what have you done? What have you done? Villagers, no! Oh, boy. Great awareness here from Rice. Okay, you want this villager to die, but you want her to die the other direction. That's the play. Get out of here. Don't try and save it. I guess the spearman and the scout's going to sacrifice. Oh, man. I think the castle will still go up, but... Oh, I didn't see the rest of the army! Oh, no! It's almost like you need a little bit of army to secure the map, right, red? What? Blue didn't lose a single villager. Or, well, of course, blue didn't. But red didn't. And red gets the castle up. Wow. Holy. Okay, so now red's got a tower here. And red's going to drop a TC here. His whole economy's building it. And then these guys are going to be mining gold. So, yeah, I mean, red, he has a castle now. He's got 2 town centers. Who knows what he's going to be able to do with all this. But he is pretty safe. Let's see how blue chooses to play this from here. I really like the way blue has played this. Like, building up towards army. With, building up towards army. And then focusing on eco as well. Like, if your goal is to become a better player, this is how you play. And I think this is more practical in the long term in most games as well. The problem is, like, if blue had 1 or 2 more archers in some of those scenarios, blue would have been rewarded and would have killed, like, 5 villagers. But blue didn't kill any, which is really sad. So that's maybe something blue needs to work on, is just the micro. Again, red is a player who adapts a lot. And so you can tell red's, like, pulling villagers off of certain resources and then sending them over to wood and whatnot. But let's see the confidence of blue now, and what blue does is blue's going to drop an important town center in the middle. I just want blue to get 1 villager kill. There we go. I feel like life is fair now. And also Saracen crossbows melt buildings, so blue could actually take down the tower as well. I feel like an obvious thing here in red's position would be a siege workshop, right? Red doesn't seem to have any interest in the siege. Keeps buying stone, guys. And this is going to go down. Blue also splits up the crossbows and runs over here. 43 population versus 60. I feel like the way red's playing, though, is a very common thing for Frank players, right? Just drop some castles, and then everyone else gets really frustrated, and then they eventually can't kill you, and then they die. Like, look at this castle! Oh my god. If you see this castle, if you're blue, though, you should take this as a positive. That's exactly where you want blue or red to be making the castles. Okay. Oh, man. More crossbows at home from blue. And blue's going to drop stables. Blue really likes to build the military buildings as part of the wall. I can't help but feel like that makes life a little more difficult for blue at times. Like, wouldn't have been a problem if it was on the front earlier. Like, this range is a little weird. But, like, this, I guess they're fast units that'll come out of the stable, but you can always just build it out here. You've got some walls, you've got some army, but it does, like, the logic still sounds to fortify up in what ways you can, so. You just try and get imp ASAP if you're blue. I personally was going to talk about that. I think that's a great approach. Investing more into Castle Age when you're so many castles is really tough, right? Because, like, camels, even though they're a good counter to knights, it costs food and gold. And I'm just not sure how helpful that's going to be when red's going to be dropping castles everywhere. But, you know, what blue might be worried about is if red adds mangonels. Because if red were to add mangonels, you might want something to snipe that. Okay, I think we all know the direction this game is going, right? Red's been on stone, and red's gone for very little army all game. Red just killed a villager, and red sees that there's a TC here. Sorry. I'm struggling for some reason. Blue is going to be castle dropped. Like, blue, you've got to understand the way red's playing this game, and I think you've got to keep an eye on this and not allow a castle to go up here. Blue is going off to try and kill villagers now. Blue's like, I've got to do something with my army. And red's going to drop a castle. And blue's got no army, no vision, no outpost, no nothing. Oh, man. Oh, jeez. Oh, pain. Pain. He didn't expect it. I'm not sure exactly why he didn't expect it. I think it's like the classic, I want to kill something with my army feeling. But he's just gone to the worst spot. Like, red will be fine with this. Red's buying more stone, by the way. Now blue must have noticed it. Yeah, blue noticed it now, so you could see the panic there from blue. And let's see how blue handles this. Blue's got tons of army. Red strat is legit, man. Like, as ballsy as it is, it's actually legit for this map. There's a new TC from blue. I don't like that. I'd prefer he bring it further away from the castle, but it's still fine. I would use that market, and I would try my best to get up. Now, remember, blue, you do have gold here. Imagine blue's very stressed at the moment. Boom, 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 boom. That's blue's heart beating if you didn't pick up on that. Just in case anyone was confused. Dang, man. This is intense. Would love to see fletching, at least from red. Remember, these are two gamers, but two well... well-informed gamers. Two very kind gamers. They gave the good luck, have fun to each other at the start. All right, blue's going to farm in the middle. I would say maybe just... not do that and maybe farm at home. Blue has a decision to make. How are you going to get to the Imperial Age? Blue's not producing any more camels. Invested a lot into the camels, also the armor. How is blue going to contest the middle? This should be a race to the Imperial Age for both players. And we now have a castle drop here from blue. The camels from Rice are running around and around and around, and that villager is a beast, and she's gonna die, actually. But, oh, she doesn't die! It's like I said, she's a god. Is Red gonna get murder holes right now? That's what Red's gonna research, isn't he? He saw blue get dangerously close to the base of the castle, and was just not having it. He's scared that these camels are gonna rush down the castle. Murder holes! All right. Actually, funnily enough, since blue has Bodkin Arrow, this castle is taking damage. So, especially if you're Saracens, guys, like at this point, Trebs can end the game, right? So, you just stop making vills. If you're still mining stone, I'd even suggest just sell off all the extra stone you have and buy food. Just get imp. It is 100% a race to imp. What's more important, 20 more vills or having 4 trebs? Look at red. Red knows. Red knows, man. Blue's still making vills. Blue's getting closer, though. And blue has army, so it gets real tricky from here. But you've got to prioritize it here, Blue. You've got to click up. More camels. What do more camels do, man? What are the camel? What does 14 camels accomplish that 10 can't? You're not seeing anything. You don't need camels. He's just like, Franks make knights. I need to make camels. He's stuck in his own head right now, I guess. And this is all important times. Important times for the gold miners getting attacked. Important times for Blue. Get up to Imp. We have the stone being sold, though. And, oh, there we go. There's the recognition we'd like to see. All right. I like how Red's starting to make some army now. I really like that. Red, also the lumber camp. Still, man. Just like a big problem. Not sure exactly why, but at least you're placing new ones. I think the only reason Red placed a new one is because he doesn't want to over-chop and allow Blue to run into his base. So he's been very attentive there. More upgrades coming in. Ballistics is a great upgrade. Also, again, as I said before, would love fletching. Because then you've got murder hulls, ballistics. You've got all these upgrades that benefit your castles. Where are the stables for Red? Is it just one? I think it's just one. Blue's still making a bunch of camels. And camels, great with Saracens, like I said at the start. Love how safe Red is played. Like, this strategy is very bold, right? It's risky. But we'll talk about more how you can punish this. I think a lot of people might fall into the trap Blue's fallen into this game. Lots of fun coaching opportunities after the cast, of course. But, like, I guess this is still an area of vulnerability. Let's see if Blue realizes that. Yeah, okay, so Blue's going to attack that house. It'd be such a Red thing to just drop a castle here. Okay, so that's... Red's distracted. Red was an imp faster, but Red's distracted. Red's not making treb... I was joking. He's actually dropping a castle to defend from camels. Could have just made a couple stone walls, but who cares? You've got the stone, might as well make the castles. He's got his base fortified with castles. He's got the middle fortified with castles. He's repairing his castle. And he's going to have one treb. Not producing the second treb just yet. That's a big thing, guys. You get to the next stage, you have to take advantage of it immediately. And Blue's going to make a treb now. Blue's going to get conscription! And cue the treb after conscription. Okay. Honestly, conscription's not a bad choice if you think you're going to lose the treb war. There's a lot of different things to talk about right now. But if you think you're going to lose the treb war anyways, you might as well get conscription so your military units produce faster. Now, there is a world with heavy camel on the way, and the way Red's playing this, that Red can have 4 or 5 castles in the middle, but if he doesn't get the ranged upgrades for his castles, that the camels could take out all of his trebs. This is really interesting. Now, what a lot of pros will do in these situations is they'll get chemistry so they can make bombard cannons. Here come the camels. They're not heavy yet, and look at what Red's doing. The quick walling god. Oh god, the camels are in. Uh-oh. No way. No way. And the treb's on the way from Blue. We have a house here, though. Great job from Red. Didn't see the first hole. But kind of sending a lot of these camels into the meat grinder here. And I can't really tell. I think Blue could maybe take this treb. Blue really... If Blue has 2 trebuchets, Blue might be fine. Let's see if Blue can get to the second one. Blue is going to get to the second one. Alright, so now Red is going to try and go in here, possibly, to take out the trebuchets from Blue. Red still really has no army. And again, the camels have survived a lot longer than I think they would have if some of the upgrades I mentioned would have been in. And Blue also has Arbalest here. And Blue's been really stubborn. And Blue's camels are actually going to be able to loop over here. Red's still trying. Lots of resources, but focused so much on the castles. And the camels are in. Blue's going to have the villager lead. Blue's still been mining gold this whole time. Red's going to lose 1 castle. Now Blue ran out of stone. Desperate repairs, though. And Rice is keeping himself in the game. This is awesome from Rice. Rice is going to get this treb. Rice could get the next treb. And Red is left thinking, well, if castles don't do it, nothing's going to do it. And calls the GG. The stat I'm most interested in looking at here. That. I'm actually a little surprised that red had 14 knights. Red was so greedy, man. Was so greedy. I mean, I love it. Like, it's so fun to see what you could see at this elo. And I could see how it could have worked for red if red would have just had a couple more of the walls down, right? But red is absolutely not in a winning position at the moment. Has one army. I guess technically two, if you could count the Treb. The Treb's going to go down. I don't know why people are saying, why did he GG? Because he's dead. He's got no army. He's going to lose all of his castles in the middle. Actually, this castle would have stayed up for blue as well. Actually, it would have been close, depending on what was happening here with this Treb. Like, red could have gone for pikemen, for example. But as I said at the start, I think Saracens are great because they have Arbalest, right? So he already had archers out, which would have been good against the pikes. Like, you can see how red can get away with this because you just made castles everywhere. And blue would show up to one area, boom, tower, boom, castle. It must have been so frustrating. But really well played from blue. I think blue, the thing I liked about blue, now there was a moment where blue almost lost the game because of it. But the thing that I really liked about blue's play is that blue was constantly looking to do damage. The area where blue almost lost the game was when blue had gone this direction with the entire army, and then red just waltzed forward with no army and dropped a castle on his TC. That you shouldn't allow to happen, but honestly, it's an easy fix. One of the most underrated buildings in our game, guys, is the outpost. So even if you want to just go to the middle and make outposts in Feudal Age, I wouldn't hate it. Think of how this game played out. Red didn't have much there. Blue could have dropped the outposts. Now, is red's play bad? Well, I don't know about bad. I think that red was just a little extreme with it. I don't see why there's any world why you can't make scouts and knights and then drop castles behind it or to support it, right? But red was just so focused on the economy and felt like all I need is castles to win this game. And maybe red thought about it and said, well, I can't make stable units because Saracen camels are really good. Maybe red was well informed there, but that was a good old fight. I really enjoyed that. Blue had more resources collected that game. Blue also had a lot more army created that game. And also had a lot more upgrades. Blue just played a little bit better there, right? But that's the beauty of this elo. You can get wins, be at the same elo, even if you just don't make army. Bet you any money, red probably picks Franks every time. Might even be favored in Golden Pit. And just might be in a new game as we speak, dropping castles. So, it's definitely a strategy that I've lost to, the Franks and the castles. It's a very hard thing to deal with, and red was very close. GG.